Gadget Girl here on day 43, getting ready to set out from Sam's Gap. Yesterday was a 0 day, didn't do any filming. Something a little different right off this morning. We have a chain link gate to walk through. Right now the Gap. Top of the first hill, there's a pretty view. Walking across the little field. Someone made a couple convenient benches. A little campfire site. We made it to Stamp Gap. There is a very rough four-wheel drive type road here. You can camp here. There's another little campsite with a view right up from the Gap. Looks like when this big tree came down, it wiped out other trees by the roots. Good sized set of steps to climb here. Once again, there are just carpets of these little spring beauty flowers. So pretty. Trail magic here from the Wolfpack Hiking Club and Wolf Laurel community. Very nice. Some chips and crackers. Some drinks in here. There's an apple and some ice. These little bog bridges look pretty new. It's really warm today. It's in the mid-60s, I believe, right now. A little hot when you're in the sun, but it feels good otherwise. Did not have to start with any kind of jacket or anything on this morning. This is a very strange looking down tree. Big. Got lots of knots and rutted out places. The thing was enormous. We're climbing Big Bald, and if the weather is bad, you can take this bypass trail to the right. But it's a beautiful day, so we'll go ahead and take the Appalachian Trail to the left. Got some boulder scrambles going up Big Bald. Got some big boulders back there I just passed. Getting close up here to the top of Big Bald. Getting some real good views up here on the Bald. It's been a climb. Most of the first 6 miles today has been up. the summit of Big Bald, 5,516 feet above sea level. Surveyor's marker here. Little campsite here. Little campfire ring. Great views. And I believe we should be walking downhill for a while. Still to some great views. Big Bald really is aptly named. Goes on for quite some distance. Come off the first summit, and then it looks like we're going to climb again for a little bit over here. Pretty walk here through what appears to be an old orchard. Or I would guess it's an old orchard. Looks like it. I guess this means the trail goes up and over the rock. So I'll go up and over the rock. I believe someone has a sense of humor. These are not official blazes. For one thing, they're too long. So I'm gonna skip these two rocks. Ground is really covered with spring beauties here. And there's a very odd tree limb. Huge tree limb bends way down there. It'd be a great seat. Well, for someone a little taller than me. So, tractor road here, I believe. Appalachian Trail's that way, tractor road goes that way. I guess it provides access to the Bald. Pretty section of trail here, down through the trees. Really big old gnarled trees. I have made it to the Bald Mountain Shelter area. Spivvy Gap is 5.7 miles north. There's a bear box and bear cables here. I guess they aren't taking any chances. Cute little shelter sign. First one I've seen like that. Rosie says to take time to smell the flowers. Here There's quite a unique little plant. It looks like a miniature palm tree. This tree has a giant ear. It's always listening. Same tree has some giant roots. All the better to hear you with its giant ear. There's a nice camping area here, about 3.5 miles from Spivvy Gap. Trail just going through the woods now. Been a pretty good trail this afternoon, pretty easy to hike for the most part. There were the climbs this morning, but this afternoon it's been mostly easy downhill. There were a couple of areas that were a little rocky and steep, but not bad. Pretty cool AT sign someone has added to this rock. Yeah, it just came down that after having went up something very similar on the opposite side, only to get 0 views. Oh well, such is life on the Appalachian Trail at times. Yep, that crazy rock section is the trail. Getting closer to Spivvy Gap. Little bog bridge here across a little swampy spring. Made it to Spivvy Gap. Had a subscriber ask me to video how I set up camp, so I'm going to try to do a little bit of that. First thing I do is I get out my hammock straps and put those around the trees, and then I string the hammock up between them. And if you want to try to get about the right height, that looks about right. I'm going to unzip it, sit on it, test it out, and see if it is. That ended up being actually a little low, so I moved the straps up a little higher on the tree and adjusted the straps a little bit tighter too. And now it's about right. The next thing I do is add my underquilt. It attaches by these little carabiner hooks. The next thing I do is take my sleeping bag and spread it out to start fluffing up inside my hammock. Inside this bag I also have some insulated pants and some down booties. I am not going to need those tonight, so I'm just going to roll those up and throw them up in the little gear loft that I have here. The next thing I do is to put up my tarp and unroll it, and then I will stake it out.